Okay, go for it.
So, hi there. I would like to use this forum to see what are your opinions or ideas, if any, about what could be the next steps regarding the RPM build pipeline. We have recently published the Fedora flavor for that with some guidance how people from Fedora community can drive that pipeline on their packages. And we are wondering what would be beneficial for the Fedora people, like what we can do next there. If you have any ideas, I'm not sure if any of you have chance to try the pipeline yet, for example.
Yeah. I know I'll speak for myself that I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but I think one of the most valuable things we could do next, let me walk back for a second. I haven't tried the latest version of it. I tried previous versions of it a bunch of times, but not the most recent one that was announced. I think the thing we could do next that would really help is somehow getting it added to the build config defaults so that when you're a user logged into Fedora Konflux and you go to onboard a repo, hey Greg, welcome. We're just getting started. We just started talking about the RPM build pipeline in Fedora. It just got open sourced a couple weeks ago, and we made an announcement about it. And the question is, so what's the next step for that to take it forward? And so, I think if when you're in the UI and you go to onboard a repo, the RPM build pipeline isn't presented as an option. You have to know how to do it. You try to onboard as a container. Konflux sends a pull request which you ignore and throw away, and then instead you hack in the RPM build pipeline. And if we need to make that flow work. And part of the problem is that flow expects that the pipeline is represented as a Tecton bundle. And I think it may, I don't know if this is true or not. Maybe it's not true. What I was about to say is that I think that we also have we have to have all of the tasks represented as Tecton OCI bundles. It's like bundles all the way down. And only then will the build service work to send the initial pull request with a RPM build pipeline. But I think maybe that's not true. It definitely needs to have the pipeline as an OCI bundle. But right now, Pavel has that Git reference, the pipeline ref inside the pipeline run is a Git reference, which is kind of nice for users. If you're an open source hacker user, if you're any user really, and you're running the pipeline and then something goes wrong, to debug what the pipeline's doing, if you can follow a Git ref to the source for the pipeline, that's awesome. But most of our current downstream Konflux usage in Red Hat is all OCI bundle references, which is a little bit more performant at runtime, but it's opaque from a debugging point of view. You follow to this OCI thing. If you no Scopio, you can unpack it and find your pipeline run, but it's Git references are so much more understandable. Long story, I think we just need to get an OCI Tecton bundle built around the pipeline ref itself, and then we can tell build service about it and it will send. I think it may be easier actually than I thought it was going to be.
I was looking at it. I saw this exactly. And I was wondering, I saw some Jira issue, and I wonder, is there a plan to expand so not just bundles can be referenced? Is it? Because I think I saw some issue that was mentioning something like that, but maybe it was Pavel telling me maybe I'm just mixing things right now because it's a few weeks ago.
I think when it came up, I looked at it and I thought, oh boy, we're going to have to expand build service to understand Git references. But literally, just now when we were talking about it, Tomasz, I think I've realized that we may not have to do that. Maybe we can still do that, and it'll be helpful.
So we just need a bundle for that pipeline itself, and the pipeline itself can contain the reference for the individual tasks. Do I get it right?
Yeah, inside
the rest of the pipeline,
it can just refer by Git, and I think build service doesn't need to know about that. I hope that's true.
Cool. That's a very good idea. I will take it back to the team.
Yeah, to hack it together. We could try we can build a Tecton OCI bundle locally with it's tkn. I forget the command, bundle build, and push it to quaid.io/Tomasz Mulchak. Just nothing formal, and then we can try to register it to see if we can get the onboarding flow to work. And if it works, then we can make a real build process for the bundle and make it a regular thing.
That sounds good. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob. Any other ideas about what could be the next steps there? I think this is the good one because it will simplify the flow. People don't have to drop that pull request, and they can start right away everything through the UI basically. Okay, thanks for the feedback.
Thanks, Tomasz, for the question. It's awesome. Greg, do you have any topics to add for the meeting? We had like no agenda when we joined, so Tomasz said the first thing that came to mind. If we got anything top of mind?
No, I don't.
Okay. Can I share one thing? I was messing around yesterday for Konflux community, making a script that gobbles up all of the activity on GitHub Konflux CI org over the past month, and just makes it spits it out in a huge text file. Julia commented on this PR, Yuftak commented on this issue, these 5 new issues were open, these 6 issues closed, on and on and on. And then we take that as a giant prompt, 10,000 lines long, and put a little boilerplate at the top that says, Gemini, LLM of your choice, ChatGPT, please generate a summary email based on all this stuff. And it worked really well. I wonder if we could do the same for Fedora. Like we have someone was telling me the other day that they feel like we have a storytelling problem. We have a bunch of stuff going on in Matrix and a bunch of stuff going on in the Git repo, but like we're not leaving like a breadcrumb trail. We published on the devel list and on discussion.fp.o last week, but like it took effort to like put together. And if we could make it a little bit more effortless for me anyways, that would be nice. So I may try at some point, just I guess it's an announcement. I'm going to try at some point to script up, seeing if I can get the logs from Matrix. I don't know if that's, I should think about like legalities of that. If people are contributing their content to Matrix and they don't know that their content is being fed to an LLM, that may be problematic. I'll go ask like Fedora Legal to see if they have any thoughts about whether that's problematic in any way. But anyway, it's a thing I'm thinking about.
Maybe I'm saying something stupid. I'm not sure. Not expert about the legal, but what if you run the model on your local machine? Maybe that's fine.
Maybe it is. Cool.
Isn't all the stuff public anyway?
It is, but it's worth checking anyways. Like there might be some sort of like, contributor agreement or code of conduct or something, or some data classification around stuff in Fedora systems. You'd think Matrix is just about as open as anything, but like US notions of open and European notions of open might be different in a way that matters here that I don't know. So worth asking.
I know that generally speaking, that if data is processed, it still can be considered as a breach of whatever kind of license it was, not license, but I lost the word. But anyhow, once you process the data, it might not hold for the same kind of statute that it has when it was unprocessed.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's public, it might not be enough for processing it and sharing it processed.
When reaching to legal, I think it would worth mentioning, because if you will be using Gemini, then Gemini is not restoring the queries and not using them further for the learning. So it also may have an effect on what the answer will be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In terms of ease of use for me, Gemini would be my first choice, just because it's so easy. But of course, we'll check, and if it doesn't work out, then local LLM. If a fallback that could work too. Hey, hi JP. Jakob joined. Jakob, do you want to introduce yourself? Is this your first time here?
It is not, but last time I think we only spoke with Tomasz and Pavel because nobody else was here. So.
Cool.
Hi, folks. Yeah, so I'm a program manager for the RHEL and Konflux program. We're driving the development of the RPM pipeline and the adoption by the RHEL product. And so, yeah, as you probably discussed previously, we are trying to get some engagement also with the Fedora community and upstream community in general to see how we can pursue the adoption of that RPM pipeline in Konflux by the community. So,
do you have any topics you want to raise for the meeting today? When we joined, we had none, and then we talked about next steps technically for RPM build pipeline in Fedora. Talked about summary emails just now, but other than that, we have nothing else on the agenda.
Next steps, yeah, definitely next steps. So, like I kind of my understanding currently stands at we have finished, or Pavel has finished the the open sourcing efforts, or like making sure that the RPM pipeline is open source and is ready and is actually deployed, I think, if I understand correctly, on like the Fedora cluster, right?
It exists in a way that you can use it.
Right.
The way that you need to use it is kind of difficult in a backdoor kind of way. So that's what we were talking about just before you joined. There's a couple steps we think we can take to make it like more of a first-class experience in the cluster, so you can actually select it from the UI and kind of automatically get an RPM build working without having to hack it in place.
Okay. No, that's cool. My question basically would be who we need to engage. How do we want to engage with people, Red Hat employees who are active in the Fedora community, like Tomáš Hrčka, etc., especially from that infrastructure side, that and agree with them how they can help, promote and drive adopting the Konflux on the Fedora side, right?
Yeah, I understand. I mean, oh, go ahead. None of us can speak for them because they're not here, of course. But like, I guess after this, we can ping them again in Matrix and see how they want to engage, how they want to connect. I kind of hoped that this forum would be a place where that happens, but it hasn't really happened in many. So we can keep holding this and making it available. But we'll ping them next week is Flock too, which maybe they'll come to some discussions. Infra team will come to some discussions there about how they want to think about it going forwards.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's leverage the Flock and the fact that the people will be in one place. So cool.
Okay. If nothing else today, should we shut down the meeting? Thunderous nods. Awesome. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Take care.
Bye.